I hope the ancestors snatch your soul out of that African body so we do not have to deal with you on the liberation trail. Black women, don't let a brother with weak life force plant his seed in your fertile soil. Black woman, if that brother got a weak life, if he is insecure, low self-esteem, verbally abusive, physically abusive, you don't let no Chinaman come to your country and put his sperm in you so he can use your mixed race Afro-Chinese baby to take over African resources. Don't you do that. Don't you do that. He does not love you. He does not care about you. He's impregnating you for African conquest. Christians, don't get in your feelings. Please don't get emotional. We got to stop being so damn religiously immature when somebody says something that doesn't agree with the brainwash program of our subconscious. We got to stop being so politically immature. We got to stop being so religiously immature. We got to stop being so spiritually immature that when somebody says something that contradicts the brainwash and programming of our religious subconscious, we start snapping off. Religion is not the highest agenda of African people. African liberation is the highest agenda of African people. This is why a lot of you religious people, y'all cannot be a part of the liberation struggle. I hate to say it. I hate to say it. Not all of you, but a lot of our religious blacks around the world are so brainwashed with that religious narrative that they will sabotage the African liberation struggle. I hate to say it, brothers and sisters. I hate to say it, brothers and sisters. Somebody said, who made me the leader? I never claimed to be the leader, you damn beta male. You snow bunny having beta male. I bet you got a damn Neanderthal queen. I bet you got a Neanderthal queen. I bet you I bet you don't get no attention from the women. I bet you don't get no attention from the women. You know what, my brother? I'm not upset at you. I'm going to pray for you. I got to start praying for the coons. I really have to start praying for the coons. Brother, I'm not mad at you. I empathize with you. I empathize with you, my brother. You are the type of Negro I hope the ancestors snatch out the human body so we do not have to encounter you on the revolutionary trail. I hope the ancestors snatch your soul out of that African body so we do not have to deal with you on the liberation trail. Brothers and sisters, are you with me? If you roll with Dr. Umar, I want some fists from the kings and some hearts from the queens. If you roll with the Prince of Pan-Africanism, let it be known right now. See, when I tell them I'm the most loved scholar, they say it's not true. But I'm the only one building an institution. I'm the only one getting invited to speak all around the world. I'm the only one with millions upon millions and millions of views. If I am not Ifa Tunde, if I am not the destiny of our people returned, why was I given this name by the heavens? Why was I given this name by the heaven? Destiny has returned, Ifa Tunde. You think it's a coincidence? Me and Frederick Douglass come from the same foreparents? You think that's a coincidence? That Dr. Umar and the greatest black leader in American history come from the same ancestors? You think that's a coincidence, brothers and sisters? It's not ego, my brother. Why are you so afraid of another black man's self-confidence? Black women, never date a black man who feels inferior in the presence of another brother's self-confidence. I'm talking to my black women right now. This is King Kong Cassius Clay, and I'm talking to all my beautiful African sisters right now. King Kong Cassius Clay, and I'm talking to all my beautiful African sisters. If you are dating a man who feels insecure in the presence of another man's God spirit, if you dating a man who shrinks in the presence of another man's self-esteem, don't you let that man impregnate you, black woman. Don't you let that man impregnate you, black woman. Don't you let that man impregnate you, because his seed, his life force is weak. Black women, don't let a brother with weak life force plant his seed in your fertile soil. Black woman, if that brother got a weak life, if he is insecure, low self-esteem, verbally abusive, physically abusive, he has a low spiritual vibration. Don't let the spirit from a low physically vibrating Negro fertilize one of your eggs. Did you hear what I just said, black sister? Did you hear what I just said? I'm talking to my continental Africans. I'm talking to my sisters in the Caribbean. I'm talking to my sisters in Europe, my sisters in Canada, my sisters in Australia, my sisters in Asia, my sisters in Brazil, my African queens in Mexico, Panama City. I'm talking to my Puerto Rican African queens, Dominican, Haitian African queens, Philadelphia, Houston, Newark, New York City queens. I'm talking to my New Orleans and Little Rock queens. I'm talking to my Shreveport and Phoenix queens, my Milwaukee and Detroit queens. Don't let no low vibration Negro implant his weak, low spirits in your vaginal walls. Don't you give him a seed to fertilize. Don't you give him a seed to fertilize. We have to birth kings and queens. If we ain't birthing kings and queens, if we ain't birthing kings and queens, if we ain't birthing kings and queens, what we making babies for? If we ain't building institutions for the race, what we getting married for? If we ain't building institutions and systems and infrastructure for the race, what we getting married for? If you not marrying for liberation, and if you ain't child rearing for liberation, then it's a waste of damn time, brothers and sisters. The Chinese are over there birthing for global imperialism. The Chinese over there making babies for global conquest. The East Indians are in India making babies for global conquest. That means all Africans around the world must conceptualize children for global African liberation. Nigerians make babies. Ghanaians make babies. Sierra Leone make babies. Botswana make babies. Malawi make babies. Congo make babies. Togo make babies. Liberia make babies. Cote d'Ivoire make babies. Madagascar, and we got to get the Chinese out of Madagascar. Where are my Madagascar Africans? I want to come to Madagascar. Where are my Madagascar Africans? The Chinese are dominating Madagascar. We got to stop it. We got to get the Chinese out of Madagascar. What? I need to come to Madagascar. Where are my Madagascar Africans? I need to come to Madagascar. We got to get the Chinese out of Madagascar. And I have a special request for black women in Africa. I have a special request for my African queens on the continent. I need my African queens, my South African queens, my Nigerian queen, my Ghanaian queens, my Eritrean queens, my Somali queens, my Ethiopian queens. I need y'all to listen to me. My Chad queens, my queens over in Chad. I can't wait to visit Chad. Stop letting the Chinese plant his seeds in your African womb. Black women, I'm a little upset with my queens in Africa and my queens in the Caribbean. I'm a little upset with my queens in Africa and my queens in Caribbean. Stop offering up your sacred womb to these Chinese imperialists. Stop offering up your sacred womb to these Chinese imperialists. Don't you do that. You don't let no Chinaman come to your country and put his sperm in you so he can use your mixed race Afro-Chinese baby to take over African resources. Don't you do that. Don't you do that. He does not love you. He does not care about you. He's impregnating you for African conquest. Now, to my mixed race Chinese Africans, I have nothing against you. If you identify as African, I accept you. If you identify as African, I accept you. You do not have to deny your Chinese father. You do not have to deny your Chinese mother. But you must be unapologetically Pan-Africanist. You must identify wholeheartedly with the African race. If you want me to see you as a Chinese African, I will not do that. All mixed race people must primarily identify as African. If you half snow bunny and half African, you better identify as African. If you have snow puppy and half African, you better identify as African. Did you hear me, mixed race Africans? Just because you have snow bunny doesn't mean nothing. We carry the dominant gene. We carry the dominant gene. Just because you have yellow bunny Chinese Africans, mixed race Chinese Africans, just because you have yellow bunny, okay, you still are African. Accept your race and get in where you fit in. Accept your race and get in where you fit in. Nobody needs a handout. Reparations is not a handout. Reparations is restitution. If white people don't believe in handouts, why did America give free land to poor white people? If white people don't believe in handouts, why did America give the GI Bill to white people? If white people don't believe in handouts, why does most welfare checks go to white people? If white people don't believe in handouts,